Hello and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament weekly broadcast. This is Nightcat and I will be your host for today. So we are going back into the swing of getting some replays shown to y'all. We've got some replays posted up in the replays channel, so we can go ahead and cast them. So starting us off today, we have Stardust spawning as the yellow Protoss down in the bottom right of La Mancha. And then we've got Crazio spawning as the red Terran down in the bottom left. So La Mancha is an interesting map because it does have these tight bridges here to have to cross between some of the spawns. You don't have to deal with them so much if you're cross spawn, but then if you're cross spawn, you've got other problems you have to deal with. So definitely an interesting map that can play out in some very interesting ways when it's AI versus AI. Here it looks like Crazio going for a wall off in the main, perhaps. May close it or may not. Does have the gas now, so going to be able to get the factory. Interesting that it went and chased this probe here with a gas gather, and actually is not even going to get that gas barrel, so a little bit unfortunate to see that there. But really won't affect things too much, just affects the timing of when your factory is going to get down just a little bit. It looks like the core is spinning up. Let's go ahead and get the production tab up, because I did not open that up yet. So we've got, of course, Goon range spinning up here for Stardust. Nothing going on just yet at the natural. We do have a second gateway, it looks like, coming down, though, so we'll see two gates coming out there. And I think this is a little bit of a gap that perhaps, like Zealots might be able to, or that might actually be like one of those ones where it's like, I think a Zealot can go through it, but really a Zealot cannot go through it. Kind of hard to tell. Stardust, though, does tend to not really go for that early Zealot aggression, so should be safe, and that could probably be plugged up with a with an SCV if needed. Yeah, from the way this tank is moving and everything, I don't know if a Zealot could get fit through that. Either way, though, there is no Zealot here, so nothing to be too concerned about. Siege mode has finished, so now going to be able to push these Dragoons back a little bit. And really now it's just up to... Actually, we're getting a second factory, so it looks like Crazio is going to go for one base early aggression here. And Stardust just now going ahead, taking that natural. So we will see... Here now, we're just kind of waiting for Crazio to do that move out. Interesting concave here. It's interesting because it seems like it's not really going to be a concave against the direction that Crazio is going to come from, which is down this ramp. But it gives the most opportunity for it gave. Now the concave's kind of going down in that way, right? But, oops, when it was just up here, where my mouse is, it gave the best chance for all of the units to be able to run away, right? A little bit of a dive attempt there by Stardust, but this wall is going to protect this Terran base, really, and Stardust just needs to keep Crazio down on bases, right? Keep Crazio down to, like, one or two, just this one base for as long as possible. Keep Crazio from taking bases, essentially. No need to go in to try and dive in and kill the opponent just yet. I like this, keeping the probes here up against this nexus until it finishes. Third base being taken. We've got the robotics facility. It looks like another dive attempt happening here as Crazio is actually now moving down the ramp. But a pure Goon army, I don't think is going to be able to break this. We do have the Citadel of Adun. We've got Zealot production starting now. So pretty soon, once that finishes, I bet we will see the leg upgrade. I don't know if it's... Yeah, okay, it is an upgrade. So, yep, leg speed is started for the Zealots. Here, Crazio utilizing the floating buildings to get that little bit of extra vision for the tanks, as the tanks' firing range actually is further than its sight range is. So floating buildings can help your tanks to fire just a little bit further than they would otherwise be able to do so. Stardust is bleeding a few units. This is something that we tend to see. Another attempt to dive, but then decides to back off and not do so. I'm not sure. I wonder if the floating buildings are causing any issues for it. It is good to fire an occasional shot off on those. force them back, force the Terran to invest some money in repairing them. But Crazio now does have this natural established. Meanwhile, Stardust is actually taking this top right, going ahead and taking the natural of that top right. I'm wondering, though, if Stardust, if we'll see an explosion of not Stargates, but gateways over here. Because typically, that's what you'll see in PVTs. You'll see the Protoss go ahead and get those gates at multiple main locations, so that way, if they get trapped again. But there's actually still very, very few gateways here. Only 4, 5, 6, no, 7. Okay, there's more in the natural, so. But now getting pushed back towards this bridge. And here we might actually have a committed dive here from Stardust. Gonna try and get in on top of those tanks. It's pulling back. I feel like it probably should have just stayed in there. There were a lot of zealots. It would have cleared up a lot of tanks. But gonna go ahead and back out here. Just sort of reform the arc. Very zealot heavy at this point. They are going to need some Dragoons, though. Going ahead and getting the Arbiter now. Crazio is going to have to be able to take a third at some point or push all the way to the main of the Protoss. And I'm just keeping an eye on the minimap here in that top right, and I don't see any additional production facilities being thrown down. So Stardust limiting itself a little bit here. Does have a ton of resources. Not exactly maxed out, so... I mean, it is a long production queue, so there are quite a number of gateways here. But I almost wonder, because, like, okay, so it pulled back so that it didn't lose all of its army, right? If it had the same number of gateways here as it has here, it could just throw the army away and, like, remax in an instant, right? Maybe? But yeah, we do have the Arbiter here, which is going to cause Crazio to have to spend a lot of scans. I don't see a starport at all, which is actually going to limit the upgrades. It looks like Crazio is going to be stuck at 1-1. Did somehow squeak out a SCV here, though. Now we do have stasis coming in, but a stasis by itself and not engaging the rest of the army really isn't going to help a lot. Because that stasis is just going to wear off, and then those units are going to be back to shooting you, and the full army is still there, so... Interesting for that to happen. And here we have Stardust splitting off a Dragoon, going to find this expansion. Crazio is trying to get further out onto the map here, and I think we'll be able to keep this third up with just that Dragoon making its way there. I think Stardust is going to have to make a more committed attack. Stardust, meanwhile, is taking more of the map. Like 11 o'clock is taken. We've got the 10 o'clock up there, looking to maybe be... I know that's just an observer scouting around. Sees that Crazio is going ahead and expanding to that base. Nice stasis here, but again, unfortunately, it's actually the stasis army kind of just working as a shield here. I think because this army was not the target of Stardust, wanted to clear this base out, but so the units that were there weren't actually engaging for Stardust, which is a little bit unfortunate to see. But this base, I think, will be cleared for the moment at least. But Crazio has a very strong presence on the map here. Stardust not going to be able to clean that army out. And Stardust, actually, Crazio's supply is pretty low too. So Stardust's supply being what it is, I think Stardust is okay. Now Crazio here, mostly operating just on one mining base. And now the tank's getting a little bit too spread out. There's not enough units to support them, really. And so Stardust cleaning up a few of those there, making sure that this base doesn't get taken. Also caught this base here, managed to clear that out with a few units. So another, Stasis getting a lot of Stardust's own units. You know, trying to clean this. Oh no, I think actually the army wanted to retreat, but that bridge was blocked up by the Terran army, and so they kind of just ran around. Another nice stasis there if the army actually engages with this, in which it does appear to be doing so. So nice stasis there by Stardust. And now going to go ahead and try and dive into this natural. I'm backing up a little bit because of this tank on the high ground. And there are vessels out now. Not sure if EMP has been researched. It looks like it has not been. So not going to be able to kill the energy of these arbiters with those science vessels. And now that the natural has fallen, Crazio is out of mining bases, does not have the minerals to replace the command center, could lift the main command center over to that natural, but Protoss cleaning up the science facility there that was built in the natural, as the main is a little bit cramped. Now we have a dotted probe transfer also up there to the top left. And yeah, it looks like it's just a matter of time until Stardust gets the forces that it feels comfortable with. A nice defense matrix there, but unfortunately there's just too much here for Stardust. And I think this game is going to go in Stardust's favor as it's now marching into the main of Crazio. Good play there, though, by Crazio. Did manage to get that third up for a little bit, but this is such a wide area to sort of try and defend, and the army just got caught too spread out. And with that, along with the stasises, and then engaging with the unstasised army while there is the stasis in play, losing some units here to the mines in the main, but ultimately Stardust here cleaning up the main and taking a win off of Crazio here. And once this cleanup here is done, we can go ahead and jump into our second game of the day. Our second game today has us watching Saren Colette spawning as the blue Terran up at the top of Python, going up against Aurelian Lermant spawning as the orange Zerg down at the bottom. In Python, the cool little map that has the Python drawn in the middle. I forget who it was, but there was somebody I know that never realized that was why it was named Python, or maybe it's not somebody I know, and it's some internet personality that said that in some cast they were doing or something. I don't remember, but I just remember being amused by that. We do have a drone scout coming out here for Aurelian, and actually no, not a drone scout, sorry, it is a fast expansion to a mineral only here. Not sure if that was a 10 hatch or a 9 hatch. It had to be a 9 hatch because there's no, unless it did an extractor trick that I missed. So interesting choice of expansion here to go for this mineral only that is very exposed. No real choke point here, or like the one that is here. Something interesting about Python too is the corner island only expansions that don't really see a lot of use in AI play, so I don't expect to see that get used by either of these two bots, but thought I would point it out. We do have one Rax and a gas from Saren, and it looks like going to go ahead and get a bunker out by the choke point here. Could be vulnerable to run-bys there, but looks like Aurelian is looking to go ahead and take the natural now. And the SCV does end up getting caught there by the Lings. We've got a factory coming out, an academy, 2 factories actually coming up. But we don't have, so it looks like we're going to be seeing mech-based play. This bunker was put all the way down here and no expansion being taken, so maybe just trying to make Aurelian think that Saren expanded. But now the Lings are going to come in and take some smacks at the bunker here. A little bit surprised that it's willing to just throw those units at it while still scouting with some other Lings as well. So it seems like they kind of go up to here and then they sort of come in. Now the Vulture has revealed itself, so... And now we have a tank as well, which is going to take some hits. No repair on the tank at the moment. Meanwhile, Aurelian is just going ahead, taking another expansion at another main. And we'll see. Aurelian is just going to continue to throw a few Zerglings at a time here. It looks like Aurelian is. There is actually now Hydralisks out on the field, though. But the tanks and the Vultures should be able to pretty much keep this location secure. It looks like Saren was thinking about taking the expansion, but then chose not to. Did get a starport. Is actually getting Wraith upgrades, which is kind of interesting to see here. No wraiths being produced, though. Now we have some mines being laid out slowly toward the Zerg base. But 3 mines being used on a single Zergling. Bit cost efficient there for Aurelian. Aurelian going ahead and taking another natural base here. And now Saren going ahead and taking an expansion. Now, if Aurelian never really builds up its forces, I feel like this could work out pretty well for Saren. Because Mech is going to be able to clean up these small groups pretty easily. Yeah, so we'll just have to see if Aurelian ever is able to get a large force, or what even happens when Saren tries to go out and push, right? Because eventually Saren's going to have to go and try to kill Aurelian. But nice mind taking out the Hydralisk there. But the question is sort of like, will we see, you know, like a backstab? It looks like we've got Lurkers now in play. A Lurker taking out a Spider Mine. There's an Overlord in position to be able to scout these mines, so they are visible. And I think that's a slow Overlord too, and yeah, the only anti-air... Okay, here comes some Wraiths, just because the only anti-air really was this bunker, but now we've got some Wraiths to be able to deal with air. They're not pushing the Overlord away, which is a little bit interesting, but Scan coming down for Saren there. Oh, and we do have Queens. Perhaps we have... Do we have Broodling? We do have Spawn Broodling, so that is a good response to Mech. If you can get that Spawn Broodling off on those tanks, that will definitely clean things up, or well, not clean things up, but help to clear out a expensive Terran army for just the cost of a Queen and some energy. The Wraiths are doing a good job of keeping that Queen back, pushing back any Mutalisks that come, and now we do have Goliaths in play as well for Saren, so a little bit of everything coming out. But Aurelian, meanwhile, has pretty much taken over the map, and actually, with this last top left here, we'll have pretty much taken over the entire map. But it looks like Saren is going to go ahead and move out just before that can happen. Yeah, there's not really like a strong enough force from Aurelian that they might be able to slowly whittle this down. Saren is not maxed either, so, and now this is sort of what I was... Drone trying to come in, that's kind of interesting to see. Yeah, Saren's army is rather spread out now, though. Did take out this mineral-only base here. Battle cruisers on the field now for Saren. There's a Lurker somewhere. Oh, it's dead now. Oh, we've got Guardians now, but I believe... Yeah, Charm boosters are researched, so I think that puts the Goliath at the exact same range as a Guardian. Ultralisks out on the field now for Aurelian, but again, there's just not like a large enough force. If it would just like sit back a few macro cycles, I feel like Aurelian could just then have like a larger swarm that just go in to the opposing base. But here we have the usual natural for Aurelian being cleaned up here, the one at their actual starting location. Well, I just like the streak of blue that's like all through the middle of the map here. It's just very amusing to me to see that. We do have the battle cruisers going ahead cleaning up that extractor. Will Saren want to go up the ramp? Looks like that is a no. Saren has seen this base here. Looks like the Ultralisk Cavern being rebuilt there. Actually, nope, it is going up the ramp now, so gonna try and clean up the main here. So Aurelian is continuing to try to... Ooh, those mines just cleared that tank for Aurelian. But yeah, there's just... constantly throwing the units away. Not working out for Aurelian in this game, I don't think. Now we've got spawning pool being rebuilt here. Aurelian sees the base over here, gonna come in and try and clean this up here. Aurelian trying to get some defenses, but really just without units, not gonna be able to do much, and still just constantly throwing Zerglings away. Might bust this bunker though if it's not gonna be repaired. That's gonna burn down. This could start to be a problem for Aurelian if it's not going to leave anything at home to defend. Now it is rebuilding that bunker, it looks like, but I don't think it's remaking the Marines, so there's going to be nothing staffing that. Now there's a Mutalisk at the natural. This could start to go bad for Saren here. Does manage to clear that Mutalisk up, and now there's another one right back there. Manages to clean up the Ultralisk and Maul that was happening. Did clean up that right side. Gonna go ahead over to this mineral only to clean it up. Bunker being abandoned. Not being thrown back down. Now Saren is actually out of minerals to mine. Does have a little bit of a bank. Is going to long distance mine, it looks like. Could throw down some command centers, but it looks like wants to throw down a command center here, but can't because of the creeps. They're going to have to wait for that creep to clear out. Aurelian trying to take this main back, but gets quickly cleaned up by Saren. Now all of the tech buildings have fallen here. The hive is back though. We've got a greater spire being reformed here. Oh, and now actually this base being retaken by Aurelian instead of being taken by Saren. Sending the SCVs to mine from this top left base. Oh wow, okay. Where is Saren's army, though? It's like being indecisive on where it actually wants to go, I think. Oh, now there's a lurker. I wonder how many kills that lurker has. Probably a ton. Saren still has a nice army, though, and I feel like could just go a move win, but... Nice fleet of battle cruisers there. We've got how many battle cruisers? 7 battle cruisers. There's 1 Wraith. 20 tanks. So, pretty good-sized army here. But yeah, I think just keeps getting pulled back because of the couple of units that go there. And now, that Lurker has pretty much killed every SCV. Just about, except for the ones that are traveling. And now, the main is getting cleaned up. Saren risks losing this here. Because it can't quite commit to a base to clear out. Yeah, and I think Saren's base is going to get cleaned up before Saren can clear the rest of Aurelian's bases, so very persistent play there by Aurelian. Might be paying off here in the end. Some of the army managing to come back, though, might keep this main alive for a little bit longer, but... I think this game is gonna go in favor of the Zerg Swarm here, unless something drastic changes. So all of the SCVs, I don't think there's a single SCV. No, there are 7 workers, it says, still alive, but I don't know where they are. Okay, they're like following the battlecruiser along, or, well, there's one. The rest are like just following the battlecruiser fleet. Okay. So that's where all of the workers are. They're not gathering anything. The mech army is looking a lot smaller. There is still the battle cruisers, which are finally now working on a base. The battle cruisers are trying to return home, it looks like, but really, I feel like they should just be offensive at this point. As the ground army slowly whittles away for Saren, which is going to mean that there won't be any way to really defend and be aggressive. Still has the comsat. There's a Mutalisk now coming from this angle, which is now morphing into a Guardian right over top of that supply depot. The ground army seems to just be chilling here at this main. I'm not sure why. There's nothing there. As far as I know, Saren is not one of those bots that only attacks to the start location of the other opponent, or of the opponent, so... And in the end, Aurelian is going to win this. The army there was cleaned up a little bit. Looks like now falling back has found this and is going to go ahead and attack it, but that's gonna, the Saren's gonna lose all their buildings before I think they could even clear this hatchery. And yeah, with the last building, that will be it for Saren's forces. Good fought attempt there, but Aurelian just taking over the entire map, and while that constant stream of units I was thinking wasn't going to win at the game, in the end did end up doing so, so GG there. And here we have Wilbot spawning as the purple Protoss up at the top right of Empire of the Sun, and down in the bottom right we have Insanity Bot spawning as the brown Terran. So we've got now another TVP PVT, depending on the perspective that you want to consider. We've got the Scout for Insanity Bot going out very quickly before even the first building is placed. Bit of a very, very early Scout going to hurt the economy a fair bit, but we've got, why is all of that, please why is all of that highlighted blue? I don't feel like, okay, I'm just gonna deal with that. So here we have, it looks like a 2-gate opener from Wilbot. Insanity Bot, meanwhile, is going ahead getting its barracks now. We've got now the gas coming down. Is there a supply depot? Yeah, there is a depot somewhere. Just off screen. And the second one is being made now. Bunker coming up at the natural. Will allow that expansion to be taken quickly if it so chooses, but I feel like the factory is not down yet, and not sure what those zealots are doing. They're just dancing in the mineral line, it looks like. Forge coming down, so open 2-gate from Wilbot, but not being aggressive with it. And here we do have the expansion coming up for Insanity Bot. The factory is now on the way as well. Still getting a few more Marines, it looks like, for that bunker. Cannon coming down, so Wilbot looking to play, I think, a little bit defensively here. Getting yet another cannon along with a pylon there in the main. A large number of zealots. I feel like if those zealots just marched in here, it could very well be over for Insanity Bot, but Wilbot just sitting back with these zealots. Looking a little bit like the stock AI in a way to me, but it looks like we are scouting now with one of the zealots. Going in the right direction to find Insanity Bot right away, though, so Scout is making its way down here. And we'll get quickly cleaned up. And now that Wilbot knows where Insanity Bot is just going to sit there and not try to charge in. Looks like we're getting our cyber core now. I was gonna say a lot of gas banked up for Wilbot, but actually it's a lot of gas banked up for Insanity Bot at the moment. Only operating on the one factory. Does have the second one on the way. Just finishes. But we got our comsats coming up. Insanity Bot going ahead and getting the Wilbot getting the robotics facility here. And just continuing to pump out a lot of zealots. But zealots with no leg speed are not as great as zealots with leg speed. I don't see a Citadel of a Dune being thrown down just yet. Nothing coming out of this robotics facility. There is an observatory, though. Observatory is about to finish, and now we do have an observer coming out of that robotics facility. That observatory can be important, as you know, we have seen vultures, so eventually mines will be something that Wilbot will have to deal with, but it is just now getting dragoons. I was going to say, without dragoons, zealots don't really kill mines very well all by themselves, since they have to get up in the face of the mine to deal any damage, and at that point, the mine can also deal damage to you. Both AIs playing very passively here. Both are just content to sit at home, do what they want to do. Interesting, this bunker, if I was reading that bunker, I would feel very, very safe right now, to say the least. And we do have now a little bit of a transfer here coming up to this third, which is established now for Insanity Bot. Question is, will Wilbot leave its home, or is it just happy to collect the minerals and have some units to move around? Do have a move out here from Insanity Bot coming across the map. Gonna say hello to this natural. Looks like +1 attack has finished for Insanity Bot. Wilbot at least is committing to defending this. But now it's going to go and clear some of it out, and we'll back up now that there is a bit more space between the Terran army and that natural. The building's coming up to float and get vision ahead. We have another siege in range of this choke here. Wilbot going to go ahead and try to fight it back. Will manage to do so successfully. And is trying to take its third, but this Terran army getting some... This tank getting some nice probe kills there at the probes that were going between the bases. And there really is not a lot of... If Wilbot wanted to engage, could, I think, easily clean up this little expeditionary force that's here, but... Choosing to mostly try and stay back, offering up free probe kills to the tanks here. Now we've got some more reinforcements coming around the bend. A little bit of pathing problems there, as per usual with Brood War. Nice irradiate on the High Templar there. We'll get it and clean it up. Another Irradiate going down on the High Templar, so irradiating them instead of EMPing. Going for the kill as opposed to just eliminating the energy. But I think that works too when there's just one, and those Dragoons just melting to the tank shots. These High Templar just can't live long enough to get a good storm off for Wilbot, unfortunately. No, there is a couple of good storms there on those Goliaths. Yeah, now the tanks are in range. Gonna shut down this pylon. I think at least one of these has energy. Could cast try and get a storm on the tanks, but the tanks will most likely just focus fire the High Templar before it can get the storm off. Forced it back up a little bit, but does still have 3 bases mining and operating. But I think might have a bit of a low... worker count is a little bit low for 3 bases. Actually, it has 2 bases mining as the main has mined out. That just looks so interesting, the movement of an irradiated Templar there. Insanity Bot trying to poke in here a little bit more. Storm going down on on some of the Goliaths there, but yeah, the tanks are just too strong. This Dragoon is going nuts. Actually, there might be 2 there. I think there are 2 that are stuck. And it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, there are indeed 2 there. So now at this point, yeah, I don't think Wilbot is going to be able to get the forces that it needs. It has an okay gateway count, but splash damage killing some of those High Templar. But yeah, Wilbot's just not going to be able to do anything. Still has this base, which has not been detected by Insanity Bot, but... And now this natural is cleared out, and Wilbot is just down to the 1 mining base. So I think this game is... Oh, it looks like Insanity Bot either just found this base, or now that the natural is cleared, has decided to go ahead and clear that base. Very quickly shells it from the high ground with the tanks and destroys that nexus. Cleans up the probes. Does not go after the assimilator just yet. Able to shell into the main a bit from the edge here. Decent storm going off, getting a couple of Goliaths and bringing 2 of them down, but yeah, just not enough. A little too late. Nice taking of the island expansion, and similar to Python that we saw earlier, there are 2 island expansions that do have a blocking mineral, so it's great to see that Insanity Bot is able to go ahead and take that. Has gone ahead and expanded across multiple bases, across the bottom of the map there. Good to see that behind the general push. And now it is just cleanup here for Insanity Bot. Very nice play. Good strong play to see. I love the use of Irradiate on the High Templar. Very, very cool. And with that, Wilbot taps out and gives the win to Insanity Bot. Our next matchup today, we are watching Megabot spawning as the purple Protoss on Icarus, going up at the top spawn, going up against Stardust spawning as the teal Protoss. A little bit of PvP action going on here. And so this one, the description in the replays channel kind of gives it away, who's going to be the winner. It says how to beat Stardust. So I'm interested to see what Megabot 2017 does here that is going to be able to topple the mighty Stardust here. So we do have a scout going out after, I believe, actually I think that was after the gateway was placed. We also have a gateway coming down for Stardust, so it looks like similar openings here, same things listed in production queue, though now we have a deviation where Megabot is going for a second gateway, so going for a 2-gate opener, while Stardust is going for a 1-gate. Actually, we'll now be getting a second gateway as well. Don't know if that is in response to anything. Nice little harassment there from the probe. Try to take shots off on this Nexus. Managed to shield out a little bit. This Zealot here, not exactly happy about it, was pacing out its frustrations there. Or maybe just trying to get the reps in, trying to get those steps in. You know, gotta get those 10,000 steps a day or what have you. You know, this probe doing a fair bit of damage on that Nexus, which is kind of silly to see. But now we do have the gas coming down. There are a few Zealots here standing guard at the ramp of Megabot's base. And wait, what is happening with the probes here? The one is this probe, it's like they're all scared of this probe now. Oh dear. What? How does it do? I mean, some minerals are coming in. Stardust is producing some things still, but like the mining rate is extremely being limited here by this one little probe who might manage to take out the Nexus, and now there's another probe getting some shots off. The shield almost gone on it, but like what is happening here? It's they're scared to go by that probe. And so they're not even getting to return their cargo. What? Is this probe gonna kill the Nexus? What is happening? Oh my, they've all got cargo that they can't get back. And then this wants to start the cybernetics core. Finally enough money gets in, the cybernetics core ges started. Oh, get back in that side and get on that side. Oh my. Oh my. I feel like this is gonna end when Stardust is able to get a Dragoon out. Like as soon as it can get the money in, like this probe could just sit there and kill everything. Oh, there's a massive money coming in now. Forge being started. But like, what is this? I can't help but laugh at it. It's just so silly to see. Meanwhile, Megabot is up to like 5 gateways, has quite the army, though the probe is having a little bit of issues getting out now. The army is marching out, but these poor Zealots don't want to chase the probe either. The Nexus is taking damage to its hit points now, like... Oh my. Stardust can't quite get the money to... The Nexus is on fire with its blue fire, of course. Megabot, meanwhile, going ahead, taking another base. Oh man. I don't think I've had a good laugh like this at a StarCraft game in a good while, so thank you for this recommendation in the replays channel. This has been great. Dragoons are coming out now, though. So now with the Dragoon out, the Dragoon will clear that pesky probe away, and mining the probes takes such a big sigh of relief that they just, half of them just stopped. It looks like a chunk of them just like, yeah, we're not gonna mine. We're just gonna sit here. One of them's even holding some minerals. It's like, no, I'm not returning that. These are mine. This is my keepsake for the horror, or for surviving the horror of that probe. Stardust is like, all right, let's see what's going on out there. He can't have too much, right? I mean, you know, we're just getting an army out here. It's gonna find this one Dragoon that's just out on its own. It's gonna be like, oh, one Dragoon. We can. Oh, there's a lot coming at us. We're gonna have to run away now. And, it has poked It's like taking a stick and poking like a wasp's or hornet's nest, right? You poked it, and now they're just coming at you. They're not stopping. Stardust realizing it just needs to engage at this point. It has to do something. Gotta try and use the ramp to its advantage. Using the high ground to get some shots off too. But I think having been on one base for so long, having not really been gathering for so long, Megabot 2017 going to be able to clean this up and win. Such a silly, silly game here. And now the army just trying to fall all the way back to the mineral line here, but while it's doing that, the rest of the base is getting destroyed by Megabot here. And yeah, that hero probe really saved the day here. Bullied all those other probes away from mining. And yeah, just kept Stardust stuck for quite a while. And with that, Megabot takes the win. A good, silly game. And I believe we have time for one more game today. So let's go ahead and hop into that. Getting into the final game for today's cast, we have Bereaver spawning as the white Protoss over at the bottom right of La Mancha. And they are going to be going up against a new contender, JJJJJ, spawning as the blue Zerg down in the bottom left. It looks like it is a new bot submitted to SSCAIT. I don't have much information about it. It does not seem to do any sort of constant spamming of orders to the workers. It looks like it is going for a 9 pull here. It's a pretty standard build. Looks like was found by Bereaver. The Overlord is scouting, unfortunately, for JJJJJ. I think I said the right number of J's there. Probably just going to call it J for short. Is going in the wrong direction. Looks like the second Overlord is going in that same scout direction as well, and it looks like we will have the 9 Zerglings popping out here. And now we have another hatchery going down in the main, so it looks like we're getting an in-main hatchery and not going out with the links, perhaps because this base has just not been found yet. And now we'll see that, okay, there is nothing there. Could scout in the other direction with the links, but choosing to just keep them at home. Meanwhile, Bereaver is going to go out with its zealots now. And this could be a bit of a problem. There's no sunken, we're just Zerglings. We are getting our gas though, and it looks like we're getting a third hatchery. Looks like, okay, there is a creep colony going down now. Bereaver kind of dancing even this zealot all the way back here instead of getting them together, which is a little surprising. Could have maybe, if that zealot had shown up here, done some work here on the base, but J is going to be okay for now. Here, Bereaver pulled the zealots all the way back, will be taking its natural. Jay seems to be happy to sit here right now on the one base, making those Zerglings, making some more drones. We do have a Stargate coming down, so we will be seeing, I believe, Corsair for Bereaver pretty soon. Gonna need some anti-air there. It don't seem to be a Hydralisk den anywhere. Let's just see. Zergling speed was upgraded. Oh, now the Zerglings are gonna come out here. But it looks like they're going to the wrong start location. Well, the one that was already scouted, it looks like, is where they are going right now. So they will get there and then see, okay, there is nothing there. So I'm guessing they're going to go to the next one. So eventually they will make it to this base, but this is just buying time for Bereaver. Meanwhile, Bereaver is going to go ahead and attack in here with these 4 zealots. The Zerglings that were there, able to clean that up. Sees, okay, there's nothing here, so now it's going to be going down to the base where Bereaver is. We'll find the cannons. Now the question, okay, there were more that were going to go in that sort of scouting pattern, but they will now converge on the cannons here, and actually having lost those 4 zealots, this could be a problem here for Bereaver. The cannons are going to get wiped out. We're losing a lot of workers here, a lot of probes. Now we've just kind of got a flood of lings coming in here. And there is a Corsair out, but it's looking for those Overlords, and the Overlords are actually kind of spread out. They're just not at home. They're not at any of the bases. And so they're going to be hard for Bereaver to find and clear. Got a lot of workers being caught here. Jay able now to get ahead in the worker count. We've got a shuttle here that's trying to find an angle to attack. I'm actually going to run past some of these Overlords. We'll see if the Corsair chooses to dive in or not. There is a Spore Colony here now, though, so there's a bit of defense. And now this Reaver drop's going to get a lot of drones. Oh, the drones not... Oh, so many drones. Oh, man. But meanwhile, back at the base of Bereaver, being overrun by this flood of Zerglings. So while Jay was up to like maybe 12 or so, or like 22 or so workers, now down to 10, the base of Bereaver is just being overrun by these lings, and Jay might be able to pull out a win still. Takes out the natural. And the Reaver just not sticking around enough to actually clear the base, and now there are Zerglings chasing after this Reaver. The Reaver gets picked off, and Jay taking the win off of Bereaver, a really strong bot in the SSCAIT ladder. Maybe not the cleanest play, but it worked, is efficient, and definitely looks promising, and I'm excited to see more out of Jay in the JJ in the future. So thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. We really appreciate the support. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, take care, everyone.